I'm going to talk to you a little bit about for inspiration and recognition of science and technology. To start off with, I'm going to open with a story that my mother likes to tell to just every single one of her friends that she knows. When I was little, I went up to her and I said, "Mama, I want to be a race car driver." And she said, "Barry, that's dangerous. You could get into a wreck. Every time that I go to one of your races, I'm going to worry about you." So I kind of went away and I thought about it for an hour or two. I came back to her later and I said, "All right, Mama, I don't want you to worry about me. I want to be safe. So therefore, when I grow up, I want to be an astronaut." So ever since I was little, I had this interest of science and technology. And this is a picture here from when I went to the Kennedy Space Center when I was really little, and I just absolutely loved it back then. Also, I really enjoyed going to science centers. My dad traveled a whole lot when I was younger, and he brought my brother, Mom, and I all with him. And every city that we went to all the science centers. Also, my Uncle Kenny brought model rockets. You guys ever see those SS rockets you go and shoot off? Oh, I absolutely love those. We did that every Christmas. Alright, by the time I got in 3rd grade, I was able to build my very first robot. There you go. You got little buttons and stuff on there. Alright, now I'm mentoring high school students, teaching them the very basics of engineering, science, and technology through this first program. This actually combines science and technology with what would be considered a high school sport, a varsity sport now. And the way that it works is that at the very beginning of the year, in January, we are given a brand new game that we have to build a robot for. And we're given this brand new game, and then everyone goes off, they get this big kit of parts, it's got motors in there, it's got wheels, it's got all sorts of really cool stuff. And then you only have 6 weeks to design, build, engineer, program, and send it off to a competition. 6 weeks is not a whole lot of time. That's about how long it took me to program the blinking 12 o'clock on my VCR. So not a whole lot of time to build a robot either. You all are probably wondering, what am I talking about robots? And this has a video on it, which I kind of expected that to happen. Well, these robots, they've got wheels, they're about yay big, and I think I'll just show you a video. It explains it much better than I can. Do we got sound? Is it down here?
Check the button right above the mute.
Here we go.
And then also,
really loud.
On the console to your upper right, you see that console on the desk here, there might be a sound
On the
controller
right side.
too.
Let's see, I see lights on here, projector screen,
On the right side is a bar. Screen.
volume. Aha! Okay, we're somewhere.
About a third of the way I struggle with.
That's about right. Okay, excellent. This is a robot we built back in 2006. We built this at St. Cloud High School. We didn't really have a machine shop or anything like that. We just had basic tools, a drill press, some aluminum, and a whole lot of imagination and an engineer there to help us out with it. Alright, moving back along. Did that already. Okay, now, why is this important? Well, the reason this is important is because we are now beginning to face a brain drain here in America. Back in the 1950s, 1957, Russia launched off Sputnik, and it put us into a giant scare where we realized that we could be falling behind in science and technology, and we had to get caught up, so they started pushing science and technology in schools, started educating kids, pushing harder in the high schools as well, and encouraging kids to go into this, because if we don't, we're going to be falling behind. We're not going to be the most powerful leader in the world. Then, in the 1960s, Russia sent up the very first man into space, and we fell even further behind, Yuri Gagarin. And that's when our president at that time, John F. Kennedy, came up with a just enthusiastic speech and got everyone motivated. He said, "We choose to go to the moon." And he did in this Boston accent, "We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because it is easy, but because it is hard." Alright. So, we got all this effort and energy, and we put it into it, and we decided to go to the moon. All those people back then are still pretty much the ones that were working up it until recently. Now we are starting to retire all of our engineers, and we are not replacing them with the science and engineers of today to take their to take their place. For example, right now, 40% of all the NASA engineers are 50 or older, and only 4% are under 30. They're not being replaced. The average age keeps getting larger and larger, so we're having trouble with this. After 20 years, they can retire they can apply for early retirement and then be released. By 2010, two-thirds of the mathematics and science teaching force are going to retire. So as you can see, that we're going to have this massive brain drain in science and engineering and in NASA. So this huge program that we have going on right now is not going in the direction we need it to. We don't have the people that we need. We're going to be going back to the moon here pretty soon. I'm not sure if you all heard about that, but we have this huge constellation project going, and we're going to go build a base there. We don't have the people to do it with. So what do we need to do? We need to start encouraging people. We need to give them energy to be able to go into this. So what do we do? Who's read the newspaper recently? Who's read about the major NASA things going on? Hey, Dr. Wan's read the newspaper. All right. April 1st, USA Today came out with this article that says over 6,000 jobs are going to be lost over at the Kennedy Space Center during this transition. Does that give you a lot of motivation to say, hey, you know what, let's go into engineering, I'm going to have some good job security, and this is where I want to go with my life? Not the direction that we want to be headed right now. Another part of our problem is that we have a major pop culture issue. Here's a passage from the World is Flat. I got the book over there, and I've been reading quite a bit of it. It's about globalization. Now, one of the sentences in there is, Gates is recognized everywhere he goes in China. Young people there hang from the rafters and scout tickets just to hear him speak. Bill Gates is the Britney Spears of China. The problem that we have here in America is Britney Spears of America, unfortunately, is Britney Spears. All right. Continuing with our problem with culture is that when we have little kids, we instill in them that baseball and basketball and football and all these sports is where they want to spend their time. That's what we want to do. These are the heroes. You have a nice little boy there and say, oh, what a strapping young boy. He'll make a fine quarterback, or he'll make a good basketball player. Or, oh, what a cute little girl. She'll be the captain of the cheerleading squad someday. That is not what we want to be placed in on our kids, because they're going to grow up believing that this is what they want to do with their lives. Why is it that there are so many kids that are wanting to go into sports right now, yet so many kids that are not going into engineering? Why do you all think? Why do kids want to go into sports?
Money.
It's fun, right? All right, it's fun, exactly. So therefore, if there's so many kids that are wanting to go into sports, why are so many kids not wanting to study science and math?
Not fun.
Hard.
It's fun. It's hard. It's not construed as fun.
Dynamic stuff.
Let's think about it. Let's think about this as a analogy to how we taught engineering to how we could teach basketball. Let's take a big group of kids here. You guys are all going to be on my basketball team. All right. So here's how we're going to teach basketball there. I'm going to tell you all what basketball is like. I'm going to give you the fundamentals of basketball. You're going to sit in a classroom for 4 years of high school, and then you're going to graduate, and then you're going to go into college. And there you can make a choice if you want to go into basketball or not. After that, you can do some more study, and after some time, you can decide if you want to go pro into basketball, and then you'll get to play it after learning all this basics. Does that sound like a good time? Who wants to be on the basketball team? Not really. This is how we're teaching engineering. We're doing it by having kids sit down in the classroom. They're learning their geometry. They're learning their physics. They kind of see an abstract goal somewhere. Maybe I want to build a bridge, but I don't have any hands-on experience. This doesn't really sound like a fun thing I want to do because they don't see that it can be fun. So this is what they see when they're little. We don't want this when they're little. We want to be instilling them from a very young age that they can be heroes like their parents that are engineers. They can grow up being Lego wizards, and they can work on robots. This is the kind of recruiting that we need to be doing for our engineering.
It's like we were on the farm, right?
That's exactly just like that. All right. Okay. And first, we have students working side by side with real-world engineers. In fact, I am one of over 21,000 engineers, or not engineers, mentors in FIRST. Although I'm not an engineer, I'm not an electrician or a programmer, I simply went through the program when I was in high school. I had these guys invest a lot of their knowledge into me, and now that I'm in college, I'm not going into engineering. However, I learned and benefited from all those people that I'm now able to pass on to the generations that are coming through high school now. So that's my role, how I'm fitting in. All right, but why is it important for us to have engineers working with these students? FIRST is not a student design and build robot competition. It is built side by side with these guys. These are some of the Disney engineers that are working with kids right now. Okay. Think, all of you, for just a moment, your very favorite class you've had, even all the way back to high school. What was your absolute favorite class? Everyone got that in their mind? All right. Now, if that favorite class you took had anything to do with the professor that was teaching it to you, raise your hand. All right, exactly. The reason why people enjoy learning new things is because they have someone that is passionate about it, and that they have somebody that is willing to take an interest in them and be willing to show them, this is how cool this is. Come work hand by side with me and have hands-on experience and learn this brand new skill. Doesn't that sound like more fun than standing in a classroom and having an abstract thought of geometry and physics and this is how it could be? Alright, this is what FIRST is doing. Alright, and this is Dean Kamen here. He's the founder of FIRST, and he wants to celebrate a world where science and technology is celebrated. Now, we want these kids, I'm going to put the ball down for a second, to believe that after they go through our program, that science is fun, math is cool. I believe that robots rock! That is what we want these guys to believe. Now, I can already see that you guys are already going, okay, this sounds a bit more fun. I don't really believe you that kids are going to come out saying, yeah, math and science is cool, this is going to be a good time. Well, here's a video just from 2 weeks ago in Philadelphia. I was there as a game announcer. Yeah, pulled up here. Yes. This is Team 467, the Duct Tape Fans, and Team Rolling Thunder. They believe that robots rock. This is what we want to do. This is a basketball. This is in a basketball arena at Drexel in Philadelphia, and we are beginning to change culture to show that this is what we need. Oh, come on.
I keep a PowerPoint. You know, you're gonna go right to it.
There we go. Got it. I win. All right. So they're beginning to change culture very slowly. It hasn't taken the full effect yet, but we're on our way. We're making good time. All right. It's not just about learning engineering. There's a lot more skills involved as well. As you can see here, I made a list. You obviously get your algebra, your trigonometry. When I did a speech once to the School Advisory Council, I actually brought a physics problem that we actually did in class, and I actually worked out the physics problem and how we did it. I'm going to spare you all from that because I figured out that doing math in front of a bunch of people is not a good idea. They also get to learn the science, language arts. All of our awards are done in essays. You have to be able to write well in order to do it. So if you don't have people that can write well, you can't really say exactly what you've done to learn. And if you don't have people that are able to write well, you either have to teach it to them, or you better get other types of students to get involved with it. And either way is a really good way of going about it. If you have people that don't write well, they're going to improve. If you have people that do write well, chances are they weren't involved in engineering. So now you're able to take more of these people from other skills and teach them why this is important. Time management, I'm going to go right down to teamwork because that is a really good one that is why all sports exist. You get a good social environment. You get to learn how to work with a team. But now, instead of learning how to dribble a basketball or hit a ball as hard as you can, you're actually getting the teamwork environment while learning skills you're going to be able to use later in life. All right, I bolded there computer engineering, computer animation engineering. Here at UCF, we have right down the street the headquarters of EA Games. And combined with this program, we have a very cool opportunity. This is made by a high school student just a little while ago, and you can see it's the exact same robot that you saw earlier. This animation was made before that robot was finished. This is the kind of skill that is needed in engineering because I'm sure you all have seen when the Mars rovers were going to land on Mars, but before it came on you saw the video of them like bouncing along the Earth or along Mars surface and coming out and doing all their functions and everything. That's because somebody animated it. Animation is very key side by side with engineering because you can help give the ideas and communicate to other people what you're going to be doing in the future. But if you don't have a way to show it to people, it's kind of hard to get people interested in it. Okay, I'm sure you all are wondering how much does this cost? And you guys saw those robots, they're that big. Well, just the entry fee to get your kit of parts and go to your very first regional is $6,000, and it's $4,000 for each regional after that you attend, plus all the travel and expenses and all that, so it can get pretty hefty for a team, especially for those schools that are in economically disadvantaged areas. So they created what's called the First Tech Challenge. This right here is my team, just on the street, Exploding Bacon, and I'm really proud of them. They just won the state championship, so they're going to be going to the world competition, so I'm really proud of them. These robots are this size. This is a Vex robot design system, and you can still make an entire robot just out of Allen wrenches and some very simple ways of going about it. The kit itself cost $300, and the kids learn, very similar amounts to what you would. You don't get quite the same bang for your buck as you would working with actual engineering in a machine shop and getting to learn all these great skills, but it's a bit more doable and it's much cheaper. That's the First Tech Challenge. Moving on to the next grade. This is still high school students. There can be some middle school students in there as well. I have some middle schools that I'm teaching. But these guys are the guys, if you are imagining high school students. We're going to be going back to the moon. We just talked about that. The first people that are going to be going to the moon are going to be getting there, hopefully by 2020, if we can stay on track. The people that are going to be building that base up there and they're going to be living on it are these high school students. Now, the first person that sets their foot on Mars is going to have recognition for the rest of history that's equivalent to Neil Armstrong as the first person to put their foot on Mars. It's not going to be one of these guys, though. It's going to be one of these guys. I work over at the Kennedy Space Center in the education department, and I take middle schoolers and I tell them that right now the first person that is going to be putting their foot on Mars is between the ages of 6 and 16. That's why we need to be conveying to the best people at a very young age, the very smartest people, that science and engineering is cool. Otherwise, you're not going to be sending your absolute smartest people there to another planet. This is the first LEGO League. They design robots out of Lego. These guys are known for having Lego on their brain all the time. And you know what? I'm a mentor for them. These are my guys, the Lego Lions. They went to the state competition. They qualified for the state competition. You can see me with my trophy there. They got second place in robot design, so I'm extremely proud of them as well. They're great guys. They have Lego on their brain all the time. You know what? I, too, also am known for having Lego on my brain. You know, just the plural of Lego is Lego. I got one Lego. I got two Lego. Alright, this is the type of robot that they have. It is a Lego Mindstorm. And as you can see, it has the same type of mobility as the other one. I'm just going to sit on the ground here. Press the run button, and there it goes. They design these things themselves, put them together, and it's very similar to the bigger type of competition, just with younger students. I programmed this one just to go forward until the battery dies. Alright, we got over 100,000 children involved in this in 38 countries across the world. If this were a sport, Junior Lego League would be from kindergarten all the way to 9-year-olds. That's your T-ball. Little League would be the Lego League from the middle schoolers. And then you can either go on to the Major League, which is the big robots, first robotics competition, or first tech challenge. Alright, I know I'm going to start running out of time, so I'm going to speed through this. This is just some of the impact that we've had. There I am in Oklahoma City a couple weeks ago. We have 88% of first alumni went on to college. And many of them are reporting that they have increased motivation and increased self-confidence, as well as a number of other things they can see benefiting from this program. Compared to other people that were not in first but also had science and technology interests, 88%, you can see the difference of how many of them aspire to go into engineering. They're twice as likely to go into engineering and 3 times as likely to actually continue on. They're more than twice as likely to pursue a career in science and technology and 4 times as likely to pursue a career specifically in engineering and 10 times more likely to get an internship compared to another student that was not involved in first but also had a science and technology background. There are over 70 in the universities that provide $9.6 million to these students alone. If you're not a first, you don't get it. Luckily, I was able to get $2,000 of that. Is very nice. All right, and then we have many companies that are willing to put money into this because they realize it is very significant to the country's future. Now, just in a couple, next week actually, I'm unfortunately have to say that I am not going to be able to see some of your all presentations because I'm going to be in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Georgia Dome, where they are holding the World Festival for FIRST. They have all three international competitions: the first robotics competition, the first tech challenge, and the first LEGO League World Festival. There are going to be over 10,000 students at this event, 5,000 mentors, over 7,000 volunteers, and they are all there cheering on science and technology. They have the exact same amount of enthusiasm for students that would normally reserve for sports, and they're applying it to the muscle that it changes right between their ears. I'm going to leave you with just a video that is online. I'm going to get it downloaded. Non-vision. This gives you just a little idea of why we're doing this. This is again in the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, Georgia, where the Falcons play.
10 or 15 or 20 years from today, some kid in those stands will have cured Alzheimer's or AIDS or cancer, or built an engine that doesn't pollute. Somebody sitting out there is going to win a Nobel Prize, and they're going to be asked, what made you go down this road? The probability that one of them is going to do something spectacular that they would not have done without us is almost a guarantee. Look at these kids. They're the future. We're part of it by helping them figure out what to do with their lives.
All right.
Thank you.
Any questions? Go for it.
How long did it take you to do your hair?
So my hair is actually this morning. That's the reason why I was late this morning. A couple minutes, just snap them in.
Me too.
I have a video from work. I didn't want to go over. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
When you were in high school, did you want to be an engineer?
Actually, no. I was involved in the Future Business Leaders of America, and I actually didn't even consider this as a possibility, or didn't even know I was interested until I got involved. I used to watch BattleBots, way back when, and thought, that's kind of interesting. This is so much better. But I really wasn't interested in being an engineer, and then I started getting into this and just realized it's kind of, a really fun passion. But I'm a finance major, but you still need politicians and businessmen and everyone to realize why this sort of thing is important. The idea is not to turn every single one of them into engineers. The title even says, for inspiration and recognition of science and technology. As long as everyone's able to recognize that what these people are able to do, sending these robots into space and onto different planets, that's a serious feat right there. And I'm going into the business world now. I'm able to recognize that because of this program. All right. As I was saying, I do have a video. If you all want to stick around after, I'm going to hand this off to the next person because I know
We're probably not going to get to the next person because we're about to get a fast period. So we'll just have more people presenting next Tuesday.
Okay.
But I do want to make a reminder. Remember, this afternoon, 5:15.